everyone, and welcome to Demon Vale. I'm Camille Salazar-Hattaway, and I'll be your host for the show. As you know, we are starting a new year of Rainbow Six Siege, and what better way to start than by welcoming creative director Alex Karpazis to share the team's vision of the season.
So year 7 season 1 is huge for us, and it's the season of game changers. We have Azami, one of the most complicated operators we've ever had to make. It took over a year to make her, and she brings a lot of change to the defender side. And it really speaks to the core of Rainbow Six and destruction and actually rebuilding any area in the map. And for the first time in a while, we're introducing a new map to Rainbow Six Siege. It's coming in the middle of the season, and hopefully everybody can get excited about exploring a new locale with all of their favorite operators.
You've heard about what's coming in Demon Vale. Now, let's see it in action, courtesy of Chris Waters and Ubisoft News.
Defenders, have you ever thought to yourself, what if I could patch that hole in my reinforced wall? How great would it be if I could just block off that one sight line? I know they're about to come through that doorway, that window, that hatch. What if I could just seal it up? All these questions you ask yourself, Azami answers with her Kiba barriers. The Demon Vale Defender is ready to reshape the battlefield, and later in the season, you'll have an entirely new place to play with her gadget with the arrival of the Emerald Plains map. And that's not all. The launch of Demon Vale will be the launch of Attacker Repick and Team Deathmatch. It's gonna be a big one, so stick around to see all the updates coming to kick off Year 7 of Rainbow Six Siege.
Azami's gadget is going to be a game changer for defenders, and game designer Dominic Clement is going to tell you more about it. But first, creative director Alex Karpazis and gameplay designer Jeremy Carvan are going to shed some light on Azami's design. And I'm going to need all the details on that suit.
When we looked at Azami's visual identity, we actually looked towards the Japanese security police. So these are bodyguards that protect VIPs that are both domestic and international. But Azami is actually in the private sector. So we wanted to take a bit of liberty with her outfit, make sure that she can express that kind of duality of her nature. And that's how we ended up with this striking suit that Azami's wearing. When we wanted to talk about Azami's visuals, specifically her face mask, we wanted a bit of mystery there for her. This is a piece of fashion in Japanese culture that's existed forever, and we wanted to make use of it. So it was an ideal way of showcasing her kind of more hidden side. It's the first time in a while that we've actually hidden the face of a female operator, and this was kind of a unique opportunity for us to do that. We worked with our Japanese colleagues and poured through a bunch of kimono patterns and traditional patterns from the Japanese culture, and we actually settled on cranes because it was a nice kind of analogy for her gadget. The cranes are very powerful, and we kind of see that in her operator icon as well, where the crane kind of transforms into her gadget, which are the kunai. A big thing we're really happy to announce starting in season 1 is a huge tech upgrade that we're bringing to the faces of our operators in the future. So this starts with Azami, where we've redone a whole bunch of things such as skin shaders, hair shaders, eye shaders. We've also upped the amount of poly count for the headgear and the face itself. And so you'll see a lot more life and a lot more detail in future operators. And because Azami's wearing a mask, we wanted to make sure that you could see the full kind of upgrade, and we're including this with our benchmark character, which was Thunderbird. So in season 1, you're going to see Thunderbird and Azami both using this kind of new tech we've developed, and the team's worked incredibly hard to make sure we'll bring new life to our characters. So the main goal with this improvement of technology is not only to connect better with the characters, but also to make sure that we have all the tools necessary to have a diverse cast, that we're not held back by what kind of character designs we want. And so you're going to see this in our customization and our new operators that are coming in year 7.
I think the first part when we try to design a gadget is to really understand what is the gameplay mechanics behind it. What we were looking for was something super sharp, something that can stick into a wall, like pierce the wall and stay in place into it. The kunai came pretty naturally. That's a very, very iconic shape. And when we saw it, we knew that that was the thing we were looking for. The second part is the patch. For the patch, we were looking for something that can adapt to a lot of different situations, like collisions and props and so on. And so we went to internet and we were looking for the chemical reactions that we can find. And we found one that transformed a gas into something solid. And we decided to take that road. And that's why on the kunai, we added these two canisters. So one is for the gas and the other is it's the compound that solidifies the gas. And finally, the last part is the arm mechanism. Azami is a bodyguard. She's a very high fashion operator. So we thought that it was cool to hide something on her arm to add this mechanic to our dressing.
So for the very first time in Siege history, we're going to have an operator that can patch up holes. Azami brings the Kiba barriers, which are a kunai-shaped device that you can throw, and when it sticks, it will release a gas that will quickly solidify into a bulletproof surface. So the idea of having an operator that can patch up holes is something that comes up pretty much every time you ask someone to come up with an idea for an operator. We've had many operators that can destroy the map in many different ways. When you think about Siege, you think about destruction, you think about how the map can really change all the way throughout the round. There weren't any ways to rebuild the map, and we come up with this idea of having something that you can throw and really be free in the way you want to deploy your patch. The role of Azami is really an anchor. You know, she's an architect, so you want her close to the objective. You want her close to your anchor players so she can provide the necessary cover for them. You want her close to the walls that you're gonna expect some form of breach. So you want her on site. That's where she's the strongest. So Azami is a total game changer. Literally. For the first time and ever, the defenders can actually protect themselves from vertical play, which is something that was never possible before. If you had a buck or a sledge right above you, making holes on the floor, you were kind of, in panic and you had to run away, you had to get out of there. There wasn't anything you could do, but now you can. Now you can throw a patch, you can throw a Kiba barrier there and actually provide you with some real cover vertically, which is something that it's completely new for Siege. You can patch a ace hole, Ibana hole, anything you can think of. You can also even patch up a hatch that's been open. The possibilities are really endless, and it's really something that would completely change the game. We're sure of that. So the loadout for Azami, in terms of primary, she's equipped with the 9x19 SVN, which is the SMG that most people would know as Kapkan's SMG. On other option, you can also bring the ACS-12, which is the sort of like auto shotgun that you can see on Maestro and Alibi. And secondary weapon, she brings the D50. In terms of generic gadget, she brings the impact grenades and barbed wires. So the reason why we went for the 9x19 SVN and the ACS-12 is if you want to play Azami as more of a frag centered operator, you want to make sure that you can, get your frags. You're going to go probably with the 9x19 SVN because it's a very good SMG, good rate of fire, low recoil, good mag capacity, so it's a very good gun to frag out. But you can also go with the option of the ACS-12, which still provides you with quite a lot of damage, but it's also going to bring a good amount of destruction. So for an architect, it's a very useful tool. The D50, it also brings a decent amount of destruction. So again, for an architect, it's a good thing to bring. The impact grenades, well, for someone that reshapes the map, it's kind of like a must-have. And we also gave her the barbed wires because the barbed wires are a very useful tool to reshape the flow of the attack. She works really, really well with operators like bandits because she can provide covers that weren't existing before. She can create bulletproof surfaces that can really protect a bandit that's actively trying to ban trick. Considering that you can use the gadget on pretty much any surfaces, you can also use it to block drone holes. If you have few areas on different maps like Consulate, where a garage door, it's the big door that's usually a bandit trying to bandit trick, and it's a very vulnerable place, and there's a drone right next to you that's begging to have a Twitch drone go through, a grenade go through, and really deal damage to your bandit. But with this gadget, you can actually block that hole, you can block the yellow stairs, and provide your bandit with plenty of cover to actively bandit trick and be relatively safe, actually. In addition, she can also work really well with Mira. With her gadget, she can actually create half reinforced wall. It's not the same as like an actual reinforced wall, but you can place it on the soft wall, so you can really create some really exciting new ways of setting your defense. Since the gadget is bulletproof, it's going to be a very good, useful tool to protect you, but you can't really rely too much on it because it's also very easy to deal with. Any explosive will destroy the gadget. It also can be destroyed by 3 melee hits if you don't have any explosives at your disposal. Your best bet to really deal with this gadget is to bring operators like Zofia, Ash. These are very useful operators that can destroy the gadget from afar with their gadget. You can also bring Flores. Flores is also a very good operators for this gadget because with one RC drone, you can destroy a whole cluster of them. And otherwise, your classic, your grenade, and again, pretty much any form of explosives will destroy them really easily. So you can rely on the gadget to protect you from bullet, but you have to be careful that it's not going to be permanently on the map. Attackers will have a relatively easy way to deal with them. So it's a temporary fixture. So many players will tell you that Velvet Shell is probably one of their favorite season. One of the reasons for this is because we introduced the Mira, which was a huge change for the meta and a huge change for the way people actually played the game. And we're kind of hoping for the same thing with Azami. She brings such a exciting and such of a creative gadget that we're really hoping to see the game kind of like switch into a completely different ways of defending and completely different ways of setting your different sites and different defense. And it's very exciting operators to introduce into the game.
In addition to the new operator, Demon Veil is bringing back something I know you all are excited to see. A new map. Let's get a close look at where you'll soon be having close encounters. Here's level designer Josem L. Rene.
We're really excited to bring a new map at Tier 7 for the players. It was a really big challenge to secure something that is fresh, that feels new, but also that keeps the same level of quality standard that we've accustomed our players to. So the map is set in Ireland. It's a older style, classical style manor or castle. It was made into a country club for the elites of the world. First floor was modernized for the enjoyment of the guests, but the second floor has still a more classical style for the private, the elites, and maybe the shady deals they do there. Coming back after so long creating a new map, it was hard to get a new starting point in terms of thematics and vibe that we wanted. Finding the location was a challenge for the team, but I think we really hit the target right in the bullseye and created something that is quite unique and enjoyable. We really wanted to take what we've learned with the old maps and really bring a new one with those learnings. I really like when I know where I am, I know what is coming next. That's something that is really important to make a map enjoyable, is that it's easy to learn. And the faster you get to know the map, the faster you'll get enjoyment out of it. And that's what we strove for.
During High Caliber, the team debuted the lab test server with Team Deathmatch and Attacker Repick. For more on how that went, welcome back Deanna Stanley and a couple of familiar faces.
Our first lab test server was super successful for us. Our team really enjoyed watching our content creators and players discover these features for the first time, so it was really great. We showcased Team Deathmatch and Attacker Repick. The reaction we got from the community was really positive, so we're going to be able to announce today what's coming for those two features.
So we are super excited to finally let players play Attacker Epic. We've been talking about that for a while. And going through player feedback, we see that everything was working as expected for us. It was easy to use, the technical aspects were working as well. It's obviously a big meta change, but we'll monitor that during the live phase. We will be able to tweak anything if needed. I think it's very important to have it finally available to start the new year. And I think it will be very exciting to see how it changes the distribution and the way players play the game, especially in attack. We were happy to release the Attacker Epic in the lab TS because it's a very special environment. You don't have to test other features, and so that allowed us to have feedback like very focused on that feature. So that helped us a lot trying to know what was working and what wasn't working in the feature. So yeah, thank you to everyone that played on the lab test server. It made a huge difference for us. It gave us the confidence to be able to release that feature. We're really thankful for that.
So last December, we had our first TS Lab in which we introduced Team Deathmatch game mode. We had a blast watching players run around the different maps with different operators and different combination of many of the same operators and just have a blast on this game mode. And we collected a lot of feedback on this game mode. And it was super fun to read all the feedback. It was honestly overwhelmingly positive, which is why I'm super excited right now to announce that, well, this game mode is going to be coming in this season with all the awesome content that we've already announced. This is a permanent game mode, so this game mode is here to stay. And we're super excited for you to jump in and get more people to experience this awesome game mode that we worked on. We worked really hard to make sure that we could release it as soon as possible, so we're going to release it this season. But do expect more update following the release, such as we know that you want to see more maps to be added in the game mode. We're working on this. We're also looking at improving our spawning system because that was also something that was said in the feedback that we could implement and we could maybe make better. So we're actively working on this. So expect more update following the release to make sure that the game mode is at the top tier.
Okay, this next one is for folks who play as Goyo, or who play against Goyo. If that's you, Teresa Rico, Quality Control Lead from Ubisoft Barcelona, has some news.
Currently, Goyo's explosive canister is attached to a deployable shield, which allows defenders to use the gadget more aggressively and hold the strong positions from behind the shield. The main issue we've spotted with the current system was that Goyo was picked mainly because of the shield. And the meta evolved in a way that he became an issue for competitive, because attackers needed a lot of explosive and utility just to deal with him. Additionally, he was designed to be an alternative for a smoke, but he wasn't used like that. The main change we are introducing in Goyo is removing the shield. So now the gadget will be only the explosive canister. This should encourage players to use it for what it was designed, time and area denial. We are also increasing the number of canisters because you will need to replace them, so it is less reactive than a smoke and maybe not all of them will be impactful during the round. Finally, we are tweaking the canister's fire. The area will be bigger and it will last longer to compensate the lack of adaptation during the action phase. Our objective is to bring Goyo back to his original role, area denial. With the new behavior, his role should be clearer, and it should be easier to understand how and where to place the device. As Goyo, you should share your resources by placing the gadget where your teammates can use it, because it will be hard to control all of them. You are kind of giving them the ability to slow down the enemy. With this new version, the strategy and ability to cooperate will determine who is a good Goyo player.
We've got one exciting loadout update for you. For more details, here's Sébastien François, UX designer.
So when we released new sites and scope in year 5 season 3, we opted to to distribute them in a way that would make each operator loadout feel special and unique. But we realized that players felt frustrated that they didn't have access to all the sights on any weapon. So what we're doing next season is that we're going to give you access to all 1x sights on all primary weapons. So you'll be able to choose any sights that you prefer and engage in gunfights in a comfortable way.
Our PC players have been using the match replay feature to analyze tactics and strategy, learn from their mistakes, and create content. And we're happy to announce that console players can now do the same. Here to introduce match replay on consoles is project manager Mihai Lakatush.
Yes, indeed, you heard it right. Match replay is coming to console finally. We're so happy to give this feature to our console players. We've been waiting for a long time. I know they've been waiting also for a long time, so we're pretty excited and happy to offer this feature with the new season that is coming. So first of all, I just want to let you know that our console players, they've always been in our focus. We always wanted to give this feature to them. It's just that on console, we want to have a certain degree of quality. So if you remember when we first released Match Replay on PC, it was in an alpha version, meaning it was in a rough state. But since then, we improved a lot. We did a lot of optimizations and, we added new features to it. So we believe now we're in a better spot. The development was a bit tricky just because Rainbow Six, it's a very complex game that has a lot of underlying systems like, for sounds, for visual effects, for distraction, you name it. What we're doing, we're taking each system one by one and we make sure we can record it and play it back accurately. And this will translate in taking a lot of time. So this is why there was a delay between PC and console. On console, we have some constraints when it comes to disk space compared with the PC platform. So this is why we will be able, with our first version, to guarantee you that you will have your latest 2 hours of your gameplay available. Also, we're gonna still keep the 12 replays, maximum amount of replays, but your latest 2 hours will be there. So after these 2 hours, when we reach this limit, we will start deleting your oldest replay. But be assured, your 2 hours are there to be watched and create your awesome moments.
Demon Veil will also be launching with some new player protection measures, and Emmanuel Larive from the player behavior team is here to tell you more.
Player protection is a subject that is really important for us at Ubisoft, but also at Rainbow Six Siege. With Season 1 launch, it will be mandatory to have your phone number added to your account to play the ranked game mode. Following that, it will help us to fight against smurfing and also alleviate some cheating cases.
Last season, you met associate producer Deanna Stanley as she presented our new R6 Fix platform. Now, she's back to sweeten the deal for everyone out there, making Siege a better game.
So the launch of R6 Fix 2.0 went really well for us. We saw a lot of engagement from our players. We saw a boost in tickets created, especially right at the launch. So we were super happy with how it went. So it's been super helpful for the dev team, specifically when users have been raising these issues, especially for those rare, harder to pin down issues. We're really appreciative to our community. We consider that the launch was a success. We saw 1,400 daily visits to the website, and it's compared to 300 in the same period last year. So we think that the version 2 and its improved user experience really made a difference for our players. So as we mentioned last season, we do have some news to share about our new incentive program. So starting with the Year 7 Season 1 season test server, we'll be tracking the issues that players enter on R6 Fix. Depending on the severity of the bug that's reported, a player can get up to 12 alpha packs that guarantee 4 rare, 4 epic, and 4 legendary items per season. So that's for a high priority bug of the highest severity, but even for those smaller issues, as long as they make their way into our internal systems, players can still get 1 of each rarity. So we hope that this is going to help our players feel incentivized for the help that they're providing the dev team. We're super appreciative of players who are spending their time to help us identify those issues, and we're happy to be able to just give something back. So we hope this is going to be a first step, and we hope we're going to be able to do more stuff like this in the future. So even though this launches with the Year 7 Season 1 test server, it also applies to live servers. So starting with the opening of the test server, you can report any issue on the live game or on the test server, and that's going to count towards your rewards for the season. We're super thankful to our players. We're excited for this year. We hope that these changes are going to be a positive thing for them and help them feel more heard, because our number one priority is making sure that our community knows that we're working for them. We want to keep the game as enjoyable as possible, and we know that sometimes it can take time, but hopefully the incentive program is going to be a first few steps towards regaining that trust with our community.
You've got a great look at everything Demonvale will bring this season. And it's almost the end of the show, but as you know, we aren't quite done yet. During the reveal of High Caliber, we introduced you to the camera lose signal update that disconnected Defender's cameras for a few seconds when placed outside. This change is scheduled to go live this season. Experience all the content dropping with Demonvale on February 21st. And one more thing, here's an exclusive elite skin for Nomad. Enjoy.